Welcome everyone to the Wake Up Call channel. It's important to pay attention to how things like sports are going to start normalizing what the New World Order wants in place. And again, we're seeing the advancement of technology. We've seen through sports over the years how obsessed people have not only become with sports and their teams, but the overall obsession that most crazed sports fans have with the officiating. This wasn't like this in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Almost every single call in sports is under a microscope, and that is by design to bring about artificial intelligence, even included in sports. And as it filters into sports, it filters into day-to-day life. Now, sports in general are the modern day, what we see now with the NFL, Major League Baseball, every sport that is a global sport, what we see is really modern day Roman gladiators. It's like the Roman Colosseum recreated. And it's very important for the New World Order that people put a lot of their emotional investment into sports. They take a lot of anger and aggression out on sports. People are so asphyxiated with their sports teams and their enemies in sports that they don't pay attention to who their true enemy is. In reality, the same people who are taking away their rights little by little, they keep them distracted with the bread and circus instead of paying attention to what wicked people who are actually even controlling sports are doing to humanity. So I want to thank a subscriber over on the website, Curtis, for sharing this with me. And again, everybody over there who is sharing in the forum, great information that we all need to keep our eyes on, because little by little, if you understand what the overall goal is with technology, with artificial intelligence, we're seeing it seep into all different aspects of our day-to-day lives. And now a company called Wicket, which really should just rename itself Wicked, is bringing in facial recognition, facial authentication into NFL stadiums. In other words, they're bringing in biometric credentials. When you walk into a stadium, they will, just like out of Minority Report, just like out of these sci-fi movies, which were really put in place to program you and desensitize you to the future, is what we're seeing right now coming to reality, right? We're seeing robots being allowed to exist among us, telling us that robots and AI can kill us, much like movies like Terminator, right? And we're saying, what? Wait, they could kill us? Yeah, but we need it. What do we need it for? We need it because, they advance us. We could watch stuff quicker on our phone, or they could write papers for us in school. What? Okay, sure, whatever. I'm too busy playing Pokemon, right? That's the society we live in. They just continually are bringing these things into our lives that we don't need. We're allowing them to do it, and we're distracted by things like sports while they're using things like sports to quietly normalize these things, right? So for these people to go to the football game, now they're going to have their retina scanned, their facial expression scanned, their faces, I should say, scanned as they enter the football stadium. And this is going to spread to concerts. And again, they tell you that this is how they clamp down on fake credentials. Because, so many people are bringing fake credentials to go into a New York Giants or a Dallas Cowboys or a Cleveland Browns game, right? I mean, they just have to say, clamp down on fake credentials, as if somebody's going into the stadium and doing what? Taking what? What? Huh? Why would you need facial recognition for you to enter into a football game or not? Is somebody stealing your ID to go watch the football game on Sunday? Nobody asks questions. So they continue to push, and push, right? So it shouldn't surprise us that this is what the NFL is now doing. And again, the NFL founded by Walter Camp. He's one of the founding fathers of the NFL. Walter Camp, class of 1880, Skull and Bones member. Of course, Freemasonry, Skull and Bones. All these sports connect back, and all these owners connect back to Freemasonry and secret societies. The money that they got, the wealth that they have, was never achieved the way that you're told. These people keep everything in an inner circle, in their brotherhood. They distribute the wealth among themselves. And of course, we're the servants to these people. And that includes owners in sports who own these franchises that are allowing robo-umps and allowing all these other things to occur, like facial recognition, to get into stadiums, right? And again, it's the same thing with baseball. Like I said, the robo-umps are arriving at baseball next year. I've been talking about it since 2016, getting people prepared for it. The more they criticize every single call, the more they put everything under a microscope, the more people are going to beg for it. That's how problem reaction solution works, right? Instead of going, what do we care so much for about a guy dropping a football or catching a football? Why is it life or death? Why are people, calling out of work or drinking excessive amounts of booze because their football team is losing a game on a call that might be controversial? Because they're making you so obsessed with these things, you don't even realize you're under mind control. They're making you so obsessed with these things that they're actually programming you without you even realizing it into wanting this technology that they're telling you is more perfect than humans because the referees are making mistakes, the umps are making mistakes. So we'll use technology, then we don't have to worry about mistakes anymore, right? And then everybody goes, yeah, that's the best thing. And then that filters into your day-to-day life. That filters into your job where they start micromanaging you at work, saying, you know what, we can replace you with a computer or a robot. And then you go, oh, okay, wait a minute. How did we get here? You say, oh, remember when you weren't pushing back on replacing refs and umps and replacing human beings' jobs with machines? Oh, yeah, well, that was because I was rooting for my sports team and I was mad because they lost. Well, tough. Now look where we are, right? The same thing I talk about with free speech and everything else, with the libs and the Republicans going back and forth in this seesaw, stripping us of our rights, and then people going along with this stuff. Technology is the enemy of humanity. And technology, while all these people are distracted about who could have babies and who can't, they are quietly giving AI and technology rights, the same types of rights that humans would have. And thus, eventually, when you want to remove this, when you realize it's dangerous, you're not going to be able to. Okay? So, again, baseball, another sport formed by Freemasons. And let's start here with the selfie-based face biometrics. So, for anybody out there that's wondering, because I know most people aren't, but if we all just sit for a second and say, right. How did the whole selfie thing start, right? Because people used to take pictures with a camera, right? They used to have a camera, they took a picture. Okay. Well, people weren't taking this thing called a selfie, right? They weren't taking selfies with Polaroids. People were taking pictures for them, but most people weren't holding it around there, holding it out wide and then looking into the camera lens. Of course, this was all training without the majority of society realizing you were getting trained for biometrics. You were getting trained to take a selfie because what is the common theme of every selfie other than, of course, Botox and puffy lips? The common theme is that most, 99%, I would say, of people taking selfies are looking where? Right into the camera lens. So they've been trained subliminally without even realizing it, like every celebrity who has manufactured and engineered social human behavior by taking pictures of themselves deliberately so that you copy them and then go about your day taking pictures of yourself for no reason whatsoever and posting it out to the world thinking that anybody wants to see it. This is the sickness that we live in. This is the, hive mind that we're living in where they could program you this easily. So the selfie in general was all programming for biometrics. So people are going to go into these stadiums and they're just going to tell them, it's like taking a selfie. Take a selfie with the camera. Go up to the camera, take a selfie. They'll probably even market it so people could go up and take a picture, then they'll send it to their Instagram account. They won't think anything of it. You know what they're programmed to say? That people like me are crazy. We're conspiracy theorists. What's so bad about this stuff, right? The next thing you know, they're going to come to their door and they're going to say, hey, I would like to sleep with your wife and your kid. They're going to go, wait, what? They go, yeah, it's what everybody's doing. It's the right thing to do. It's a good thing to share. Okay, all right. Then they're going to wake up in the middle of the night in a deep sweat and say, wait a minute, did I just share my family with some stranger off the street? What am I doing? Right, well, this is how you get to, little by little to points like that. You give without realizing what you're giving away. You're giving away the most important thing that you have, which is privacy. You're giving it to the government. You're giving it to corporations, which is the government in America. Surprise, surprise. So Wicket facial recognition is rolling out in all NFL stadiums, okay? All NFL stadiums starting August 8th. And again, people aren't even going to blink when they see this stuff because they've been slowly conditioned into it, even with things like the outbreak that just occurred, where people were going into stores and they had to look into, a machine to have their temperatures read. This was all mass conditioning. And now we're under mass surveillance without people even realizing it. We're allowing the government to roll out these CCTV cameras. I've talked very often about this popularity, this craze with true crime. This craze of true crime is making people want more and more and more CCTV footage. They're going, wow, the case was solved, thankfully, because somebody had a camera on their car, and somebody had a camera on their front door, and somebody had a camera on their eyeball. And now we could just see everything all at once, so we don't have to worry anymore. Next thing you know, it's going to be you that they turn it on. Because when you suddenly disagree with the government, when you suddenly realize that the government is against you, not for you, it'll be too late. And then things like your bank account will get frozen. You will not be able to even open or close doors. And you certainly won't even be able to shower or flush the toilet when you want to, especially with that carbon footprint in place. So this is what they're saying. Last year's express entry facial recognition pilot, which occurred at NFL venues, was a field goal for Wicket. And again, field goal in the NFL is 33 yards. For anybody out there that's still listening, if you're wondering, there's your 33. With Freemasonry, why would they pick a 33-yard extra point, I should say? Because the number 33 is significant to them. So the biometric provider has now scored a touchdown as the league prepares to roll out Wicket's face biometric system for digital credentialing across all 30 NFL stadiums, starting with preseason games on August 8th. In a LinkedIn post, Wicket CEO Jeff Bohm announced the expansion, saying all 32 teams, starting with the New England Patriots. No surprise, when I'm talking about these people being Freemasons or being in brotherhoods, Robert Kraft, perfect example to use, is in the tribe, is he not, of these people. And of course, their willingness to get this type of technology in our day-to-day lives without you realizing it, right? So the New England Patriots will be using Wicket to streamline and secure the credentialing program. And again, this is a big thing because they've been slowly integrating this in certain stadiums. So I know I covered this, like the New York Mets, a few stadiums or everything. When they get it in every stadium, this is a slow drip. This is what I call it, the slow drip. You put it in a stadium, you put it in a concert, you wait to see if there's any pushback. You wait to see if people just go along with it, if they go up to it, if they take the selfie with it, if the pre-programming has worked, and it has. It has, because nobody cares. Everybody is constantly distracted with nonsense. Everybody's constantly in a rush to get nowhere. And then the next thing you know, we're in a surveillance state. We're in a police state. And they go, no. This is to protect from fraud. And everybody just goes, oh, okay. It's to protect from fraud. Nobody goes, what fraud? Because last I checked, in the 70s and 80s, were people fraudulently getting into concerts and sporting events? I mean, what does that even mean? What, did somebody jump somebody for their ticket out in the parking lot and then run inside with it? I mean, that's what we had security for, right? Somebody would yell, hey, that guy attacked me and took my ticket. Here are the police. Oh, right, the police don't show up anymore. How convenient to take care of the stuff. AI will take care of it for the police, because this is where we're headed. Remember, the World Economic Forum and artificial governance, okay? Smart city governance is not just in cities, it's everywhere. Okay, it's not these little pilot cities. Eventually, it's everywhere. It's every store, it's every street, it's your own home. That's what it is. You're going to be governed via the technology. It's very simple. But of course, you won't hear the alt-right screaming about that, because they're still telling their audience that this stuff with technology is not bad, because we need to pay attention to, our Congress talking about if men can have babies or not. So they can gaslight you with nonsense while the government is responsible for putting biometrics in place so you can go watch a football game. Next thing you know, you're going to need biometrics to go to the grocery store. The next thing you know, the biometrics are going to be embedded in you. You won't have to make eye contact with your retina because it's going to be in your genetic code. Oh, wait, it already is in a lot of people's genetic code. And then what? Well, your body will just get scanned. It'll be called the mark of the beast, and you won't be able to buy or sell without it. So to enter a store and leave a store with a product, you're going to need it, right? You see how all this works and what we're headed towards? That's what we're headed towards. So the selfie-based face biometric system runs in tandem with software from a credit solution which checks credentials at security checkpoints for complete identity access management. Users with registered credential badges can have them scanned and compared against a real-time selfie taken at the security checkpoint, right? So you call it a selfie, and then people don't even think anything of it, that they're getting their face, the picture of them taken. They don't care, and they don't realize they've been desensitized to it. This is what I've been warning about. This is it, right? Next thing you know, it goes from here, it goes to an airport. Goes from an airport, goes to getting in a cab or an Uber. It goes and goes and goes and goes. And with no pushback, this is what happens. And our Congress is not pushing back against it because they're in on it. That's why the Republicans in Congress never bring this stuff up. And when they do bring up the dangers of AI, they foo-foo it. And the next thing you know, they start talking about Trump and getting people angry about Christians' rights and getting people angry about men having kids or not. Men can get pregnant, all this nonsense, right? Well, they normalize this and they don't make you think for 5 seconds about the dangers of this and how we're giving all of our privacy up to the government. Everybody's always been afraid of a surveillance state, a police state. It's here, and nobody even knows it's here yet. That's what's scariest about it. So the users with registered credential badges can have them scanned and compared against a real-time selfie taken at the security checkpoint, triggering green signals for go or a red signal which will prohibit access. It also includes a phone-based system that is available to navigate possible glitches. An update from Stadium Tech Report notes some uncertainty about how the Wicket system will operate internally at stadiums. Early versions of Wicket systems have simply used Apple iPads mounted on poles to provide a place for facial recognition via the iPad camera, says the update. Recently, entry technology companies, including Access, have been busy integrating Wicket software into their entry hardware, so it's possible that teams could end up using that method to host the Wicket system. And eventually it'll just be, look, you could walk right in and walk right out. I've talked about the Amazon Go store, how important that is, right? To take a look at what the mark of the beast and the New World Order will look like, because you'll be able to walk in and walk out. You won't have to do anything else. No scanning, no nothing, right? So they're going to start by saying, well, you take a selfie here, then, oh, well, it's even easier now. It is? What now? Well, now we just have these cameras at every corner, and all you got to do is walk in. That's all you got to do. Yep, walk right in. You won't have to look right into the camera lens because it'll be embedded in your genetic code. You know that thing they've been talking about? Gene editing? Right. And they're running gene editing on humans? Right. When you're gene edited and you have a certain something in your genes, you won't need to look up at the camera and make eye contact anymore. You'll just be able to walk in and instead of people going, whoa, this is frightening, this is scary, they'll just go, oh, it's even easier. I don't even have to look up and do the selfie anymore. I can walk right in, walk right out because I'm in a rush to get nowhere. Oh, right. You got the mark of the beast. What? What is that? I never even heard of that. Are you Christian? Yeah, I'm Christian. You never heard of the mark of the beast? No, I haven't. Well, hey, that's the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. So the NFL is on board. You will start seeing this, I guarantee, at concerts if they're not already there. Some musicians do it, I'm sure. Right? You'll start probably hearing it at Taylor Swift concerts, this concert. They'll probably say, hey, Taylor Swift is having this. And they'll go, oh, okay, what is that? And they'll go, well, if you take the picture and you look right in and do the selfie for the facial recognition, we'll send you a picture of you looking at the camera and we'll airbrush Taylor Swift's face on your rear end. What? Yeah. Or they'll say, hey, we'll send a picture of Taylor Swift with her arm around you. And these people just go with it. Go with it. Because remember, they've trained all of these young people to think everything's a joke, right? They don't realize that the privacy does matter. They're making them think their privacy doesn't matter. They're making them think free speech doesn't matter. They're making them think that owning guns is bad when the government owns guns, that civilians shouldn't have the ability to own guns to protect themselves from the government because they go, what are you going to do against the government? Well, why do you think the government's so scared of civilians having guns? Because the government's gone rogue and the government knows there's more of us than them. So they've trained all these people. They've desensitized so many people with the selfie. And this is what we've gotten to, the drip method, little by little. I thank everybody for being here. And again, I thank the subscriber over on the website, Curtis, for sharing this with me and everybody who's over there. The website's linked below, uprisinglives.com. I recommend everybody join it if you haven't yet. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you and your families, as always.